Hi y'all, it's just me, Eileen, and I'm in my laundry room. I'm getting ready to fold some laundry here, some towels and wash rags, and figured I would do a video and do a little bit of talking just to see what's going to come up. I tell you right now, y'all probably be as surprised as I am, or I'll be as surprised as y'all are about what comes out, because right now I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to talk about my mom and my grandma. Growing up, my mama lived with my grandmother until I was 7. She and my biological father separated before I was born. So just to give you an insight, that's why I always say I was raised by my mom and my grandma until I was like 7 years old. And being in the laundry room reminds me of Saturday mornings at my granny's. See, Saturday morning at my granny's was wash day. Didn't matter if it was wintertime, summertime, whatever. Starting at about 7, 8 o'clock Saturday morning, it was wash day. And it was an all-day thing. Now, taking account, it was my mama, my granny, and some of my aunts. They all got together because my granny was the one that had the washer. She had an old wringer washer. And if y'all don't know what that is, I will try to insert a picture here somewhere to show you what an old wringer washer looks like. But she would wash our clothes, our linens, and everything. And my aunts would bring their laundry, and they would wash their laundry on the wringer washer. So it was an all-day thing, everybody working together. And while I had my mama, my aunts, my granny, and all of them working on the laundry, they'd also take time out going into the kitchen, which was just right off the little porch that the washer was on. And they would work on fixing something to eat. And sometimes we'd have sandwiches and stuff. And sometimes they'd fix a decent meal. And, which don't get me wrong, with my granny cooking, it was always a decent meal. But it just reminded me of that because with that wringer washer, they would wash the clothes. And usually it would be my granny and one of my aunts washing. And it would be my mama taking the clothes out and hanging them up on the line. And yes, y'all, that was the original solar dryer. My mama had a solar dryer. And for all of y'all that don't know what a solar dryer is, it is a line outside that you pin your clothes up with clothespins. And you let the wind and the sun dry your clothes. So that was their dryer, which I am blessed enough to be inside to wash my clothes because my washer and dryer are in my laundry room here. So I am able to not have to go outside to wash clothes, and I can wash clothes on a sunny day, on a rainy day, snowy day. If it was raining or snowing, which snow was very rare where I was raised, but if it was raining or anything, they didn't wash clothes on Saturdays. So weather was a big determining factor on the days that they actually washed clothes on that. So I don't have to worry about that. And I know there's many here that watch that don't have to worry about that because we have washers and dryers. And we are able to wash our clothes inside, dry them inside. Now my granny's washer, that wringer washer, she'd have to run the water in it. And then she had a big wash tub. I mean a big wash tub. It was galvanized steel. And she would drain the water out into that galvanized tub for it to be dumped. And then she'd run more water into it. Or into the washer, I should say. And when they got ready to rinse, or I should say wring out their clothes, you know, ours has a spin cycle that spins all the water out. Well, they had to run the clothes through the wringer on the washer to run the water out. And they would do that, and then they would put it in that empty bucket, or to galvanized steel pan, and put clean water into the washer to rinse with. Then they put the clothes back in the washer, in that clean water, and they would run it through a cycle for rinsing. And once they did that, they'd run the water out again, empty it, and then they would take and they would run the clothes through that wringer. Now, y'all, I don't know how many of y'all have ever used an over-wringer washer, but I tell you what, them wringers on that thing, it'll get all the water out, and those clothes will be almost dry by the time they get ready to hang them out, so you don't have to leave them hanging out on the line very long. So, I'm just saying, it was nice. Granny was lucky and blessed to have that wringer washer, because I'd heard her talk about having to use an old, washboard. Used to wash clothes on a washboard. And so I know they use washboards and other things to wash their clothes with. But then they got that wringer washer and washed the clothes. And I know that thing had a long lifespan, because we had it when I was a kid, or I should say my granny had it when I was a kid. And they'd had it for a few years before I was born. But after my granny died, my uncle, my mom's older brother, he was asking about who needed a washer, because he and his wife had a washer by that time. And it was, a newer model washer. And my mama had a washer, so she didn't need it. Then I had the one aunt, she didn't have a place for a washer. That's my Aunt Lolo. At that time, she didn't have a place for a washer. And my youngest aunt, my Aunt Ruth, she had a washer. So the only one that didn't have a washer was my Aunt Elsie. It's my mama's. She's the one right below my mom in the line, because it's my Uncle Pete, my mama, my Aunt Elsie, my Aunt Lois, and it was my Aunt Adelaide, who died as a baby, and then my Aunt Ruth. And so my Aunt Elsie was the only one that didn't have a washer. So after my granny died, my Uncle Pete, he said, well, I tell you what, he said, since everybody else has one and don't need it, he said, I'm going to take this to Elsie, because she didn't have a way to come get it. And he took it to her. And I know she had that thing for several years. And not only did she do her laundry in it, or with it, but also her husband's family. They did their laundry with it. So she didn't have to go to a laundromat no more. So just doing laundry kind of reminds me of things like that. And the different things. Not only does that remind me about the laundry and stuff, but there would also be Saturdays while they were working on the laundry during the summertime, harvest time, when the garden stuff was coming in, that my granny and my aunts and everything and my mama would be in the kitchen, and they'd be working on canning stuff in the garden. So taking account, there'd be my mama, my Aunt Shirley, usually my Aunt Lois and my Aunt Ruth there. Now my Aunt Shirley's my Uncle Pete's wife. And now my Aunt Elsie, she lived far enough away, she didn't have a way to get there. So she didn't get to join in on those Saturdays as much as she probably would have liked to, because she didn't have a car at that time to be able to go to my granny's. And it was a good 25-30 miles away from where she lived. And that don't seem like a lot nowadays, especially if you have a car. 25 miles ain't nothing. But back in the mid to late 70s, I should say, you didn't have a car to be able to get around. You had to walk where you went. And believe me, my Aunt Elsie did a lot of walking, because I stayed with her one summer when I was a kid after my granny died. And they walked everywhere, and I was wore out, y'all. But getting back to the canning and stuff, like I said, my granny and them, they'd do the laundry. And sometimes they would cook, sometimes they would can, sometimes they'd do other things while doing laundry. But the one thing, it was always together. It was her and the kid, her daughters, I should say, and her daughter-in-law. And it's a case of, she's teaching them things, especially teaching them about, being there for each other, doing for each other, and helping each other out. And I can remember that. I can remember the family, and being there for family, being there with family. And I know because of all that, my mom had an extreme love of family. She would make sure that she could keep in touch with them as much as possible. And like I said, my mom lived with my granny after she and my biological father split up. And she had me, and she and my granny raised me. And then my mom met my stepdad. They got married. And he made sure that if it wasn't every weekend, about every other weekend, she was down at my granny's house so that I could visit my granny and my mom could, spend time with family and she could help her out along with the others again, doing what they did, which was, the cooking, the canning, and everything. And, it just, doing simple things like laundry reminds me, family's everything. If you have a good relationship with your family, nurture it. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people that don't have a great relationship with their family, and I understand why. You know, I love my family. I don't see my family. I haven't seen the closest ones to me. Only live 20 miles away, and I ain't seen them since 2019. February of 2019 was the last time I saw my aunt. And the reason for that, and I'm just gonna be honest, I ain't trying to pull no, make no meanness about it or nothing, but she lives with her youngest daughter, and her youngest daughter don't like me for some reason. And it may be that I don't hesitate to call a spade and let people know the truth of things. But I know for a fact that if I were to go see my aunt, or try to go see my aunt, that my cousin would call the law on me to have me trespassed. Now, she did it to her own sister. If she'll do it to her own sister, she'll do it to me, because I'm just a cousin. So I haven't seen my aunt, I haven't talked to my aunt since 2019. And I've talked to a few of my cousins. Well, I talked to her oldest daughter through text. I hadn't seen her since before then. I haven't seen any of my aunts and uncles probably since before that, other than her, because it was the last family get together. Might have been my wedding. I think might have been the last time I saw them. I don't know. Let's see. Got married in 2015. And I think 2016 was the last time I saw them. We went to a family get together in 2016. And that was the last time I've seen the rest of my extended family. Now I have talked to them some, but it's just like, they don't make an effort to contact me. And every time I've tried to contact them, no response, so I gave up. But just, like I said, doing laundry, it reminds me of the good times when I was a kid with my granny and my mama and my aunts and everybody being around and my cousins. Because as kids, we got to go outside and play while everybody was doing the hard work. And it was just the camaraderie of everything. So I have to say, I don't know, I'm just, if you got family, let them know you love them. Let them know you care about them. And if you have problems with your family, then what I say to this is try to make amends. I personally have tried. I'm not going to go out of my way anymore. I mean, I love them. I'll always love my family. Y'all, God gave them to me, gave them to me for a reason. But I'm not going to go out of my way to try and make things right with others when they're not willing to go out of the way to say hi to me. So I guess I just want to say, things happen in life. We grow up, we grow apart, but we still have the memories. And I do have my memories of my family. I love them. I'll always love them. I have memories of being a child at my grandmother's house and my family, my aunts and uncles, my mama, all working out in the garden with my granny, doing laundry on the closed-in back porch right off the kitchen. And just getting together and spending time together, having Sunday dinner together. And I can still see them all and be there and know that I was loved and am loved. They might not come around, they might not talk to me, whatever, might not get in touch with me, but I know they love me and I love them. And I just wanted to share that little bit of a story with you. I don't know for a fact where it's leading, what it means, if it means anything to anybody, but just sharing with you one of my good memories of the laundry and how the whole family worked together to get it done. Hope y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all.